Good evening, everyone. I'll call our committee of the whole to order here in council chambers at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy, Macias,
Present.
Razak,
Present.
Timian,
Present.
Finch, McNeil,
Present.
Castro, Schmidt.
Present.
Yeah, we do have a lot of sickness floating around the area, so I hope our friends will be back with us soon. No remote electronic attendance. Is there public comment? No? Okay. So we'll turn right to our presentation. Mr. Wennekamp, Two Rivers YMCA update.
Mayor, members of City Council, thanks for having us today. My name is Rob Anderson, and I am the Chief Volunteer Officer for the Moline, or the Two Rivers YMCA. Mike and I are here to talk to you today about infrastructure. Typically when you think of infrastructure, you think of roads, bridges, pipes, sewer, but we're talking a little bit about something different. And what we're talking about is human infrastructure, Moline's human infrastructure. That includes the places that keep kids safe, our families strong, and our seniors healthy. Currently, the YMCA has over 14,000 members, and it averages about 12 to 15% of those being on an income-based memberships. The Two Rivers YMCA has been the cornerstone of Moline for 140 years. Tonight, we are presenting a plan to secure the cornerstone for the next 50 years and beyond. As you can see from the slide, our mission is ambitious but necessary. Right now, we serve 1 in 8 residents in our service area. By 2028, with this expansion, we will reach 1 in 4. This just isn't about getting bigger. It's about getting better. It's serving everyone, regardless of age, background, or income. We are changing the future for Moline families by building the best facilities for everyone, anywhere in our region. Why are we doing this? Because we see 3 critical gaps in our community that the Y fills. One is youth safety. We need safe spaces for youth and teens during those at-risk hours of 3 to 6 p.m. when parents may not be home and they're home from school. Senior health. Our aging seniors need rehabilitation, mobility, and social connection, not just a treadmill. And family connection. Families need a place where they can all be active at the same time. We believe Moline deserves the best. And I'm going to turn it over to Mike to explain what the best looks like.
Yeah, you're good at that. Mayor, Council, thank you for having us. As Rob said, the Y has been a cornerstone in this community since the late 1800s, 140 years. The 3 things that he mentioned, safe spaces for youth, the chronic disease prevention and health and wellness for seniors, and the family hub that we are, can be enhanced through the transformation of our current facility. Our current Moline YMCA was built in 1970. It's been through 5 different renovations / additions. The most recent was 2015 when we invested $3.5 million to remodel the first floor entrance and put a new facade on the front to make it more welcoming. We were told by diverse populations that the building felt very institutional, and so that was our first step forward toward a state-of-the-art, modern facility of the 2000s. And this is going to take us the rest of the way. You can see that a brand new gymnasium on the north end of the building. I told a reporter earlier I left the Y about an hour ago, and we had people waiting to go into the gym and use it. That is a hub for kids and for teenagers every day after school into the evening. Aquatics excellence, our current swimming pool was built in 1970. Our warm water pool was built almost 25 years ago. You can imagine what a 1970s pool is to keep up, and we're running into that right now. We've also had some early discussions with Moline Coal Valley School District about relocating their swim team activities to the pool. And as you probably know, their pool, I think, is older than ours, and so they've been looking for a solution for quite a long time. And with that, we would expand on two different other community-based partnerships with the school district. One is a water safety initiative where we would go into the school district and train PE teachers to go into their PE classes and promote water safety through a 2 to 4 week initiative, teaching kids things like who are lifeguards, what do they do, what are life jackets for, when do you jump into a pool, when do you not jump into a pool, basic things that you don't necessarily have to be in the water to learn. And then also a lifeguard partnership that we've engaged in with the city, actually, through the Parks Department, where high school kids will get PE credit for going through a lifeguard training program. And then, of course, the city and the Y are very anxious to hire them and start to give them their first work experience. So that would all be a part of this. It's not just 2 swimming pools. It really is the whole aquatics partnership. And then we also have Rock Valley Physical Therapy, who comes into our facility during the weekdays, during downtime, and does physical therapy in our current warm water pool for their clients, and that would continue forward into the new pool as well. The current gymnasium would be converted into turf for indoor soccer, tumbling, and whatever comes next. We call it kind of the next generation athletics. A lot of traditional YMCA's have hard courts for basketball and volleyball, but nowadays you see a lot more kids doing other sports that aren't necessarily basketball and volleyball. So that would help serve that need. Dignity and access, fully renovated locker rooms, meeting all the gender accommodation laws of the state of Illinois. As you can imagine, a 1970s facility doesn't necessarily do that. And then, of course, as I said earlier, converting our existing lap pool into the warm water family therapy pool. So the reason we're here today is because the city and the Y have been partners for a long, long time. I've explained to a few different people tonight some of the more recent partnerships. One, the youth safe space, for example. A few years ago, the city secured a Safe Routes to School grant, and we widened and built a sidewalk that is more of a direct access for kids instead of playing Frogger on 53rd Street as they're trying to get across the street. We've also worked with you very closely on the development of the Riverside Riverslide. And the Y pays currently about $100,000 a year for our members to access that pool. We have a 10-year agreement. So, while the city did go out and build that pool, we figured, that we probably are helping pay down the bonds by about $1 million once that 10-year period is over. And then I know you've partnered with a lot of other for-profit organizations as well, but we feel like this ask is a way that, the city and the Y together can partner uniquely to make this next aquatics and YMCA development really happen. We're currently working with Leggett Architects and Russell Construction. They're our design build team. Leggett provided these assumed, or I should say estimated fees to us for permits and plan review, and you can see that at the very bottom it totals up to roughly $130,000. We're not here this evening to ask you for a handout. That's not what we want. We do plan to go out and to raise private donations to cover roughly $17 million of the $23.5 million that we have left to invest in this. And a lot of those donations, honestly, are going to come from outside Moline. So we're going to compound whatever the city can put into this with donations that are coming from around in the Quad Cities and the Quad Cities region. And we feel like the community benefit that we provide through an updated facility is far going to exceed, anything that we're asking the city for. The other thing is, and I brought some community benefit statements. I can provide those to you later. But every year we go through and we total up the subsidies that we raise, whether they be federal subsidies through our Nourish program, which is based out of Rock Island, or our child care assistance payments, CCAP payments, which come through the State Board of Education. And every year, we're somewhere between roughly $1 million and $1.5 million of community benefit that we're giving back to the citizens of the Illinois Quad Cities. But really, Moline and East Moline are at the heart of that. And so our ask is for the city to consider waiving the $130,000 estimate for the plan and permit review and permit fees. And you can be assured that every single dollar of that will be reinvested back into that project that we're looking at doing. Our timeline is that we're looking at starting with our parking lot expansion. We've got the civil out to bid currently, and we anticipate that breaking ground somewhere around late spring, early summer. We're working on the final schematic design of the building for the vertical construction that will likely be done somewhere around April and go to bid. And our hope is that we'll get through the silent parts of our campaign by midsummer or so, where we can go public, and then we can also break ground on phase 2, and then phase 3 is the aquatics part of that project, which would follow phase 2. But again, we feel like this is an outstanding way for the city to support what the Y's doing. The reinvestment of $25 million is no small number, as you might know, and we feel like this would be a great way to work with the city and really make this project a reality. And I'll let Rob close.
So, as Mike alluded to, this is an ambitious project, and we have completed phase 1, which was the internal prep for building out of the building, and that included replacing the original boiler and hot water systems, and then obviously we're deep into planning phase 2 and 3, and we have commissioned a capital campaign to begin, as Mike said, in the future here. So. Overview that the feasibility study that affirmed that we can generate nearly $17 million in community support through donations and grants, and the rest will be, as Mike alluded to, is traditional financing. This overall $25 million investment secures a community asset for at least the next 50 years and possibly beyond, and we are committed to doing this for Moline. And again, as Mike stated, we are simply asking for the city to join us as a partner in that vision, and all we need is you to help us take the next step. Thank you for your time and your attention to this, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. First off, I think we would like to see your community benefit statements. Do you have them with you, or?
I do.
Oh, perfect. That's helpful. And then the process would be that staff would bring forward any recommendation on the ask according to the timeline we can all talk through.
Yeah, the staff we would review the request and make a recommendation to the city council, and more than likely it would be probably through a memorandum of agreement or understanding. Thank you.
Any questions, council members? We apologize for 3 of them being absent today, but they know who to follow up with if they have questions. Yes, Mr. Schmidt? No? Yes, Mr. Macias.
Thank you, Your Honor. As a former swim dad and also a Y member, when they have tournaments, you get a lot of people, buses, a lot of parking. How do you plan to manage the members' needs and also working with the school in case they do have large meets?
So as you probably know, the actual swim meets will be really a few in number. The pool will be an 8-lane pool with modern 7-foot 4-inch lanes versus our current 6 feet lanes. If any of you swim and you've had to share a lane, you probably know how uncomfortable it is. But there will be plenty of space for a swim team to practice, as well as members to use the pool during the regular course of our operations. During the larger events, as you refer to, we would envision using the property that we own across the street. We call it our Spirit, Mind, and Body Center that has additional parking. And we are not going to maintain the public entrance on the north side of the building, but it will be used for special events like those types of things where we can direct people in securely. We are talking about kids, even though they're teenagers, and we do have very strict child abuse prevention standards that we have to meet. So all of that goes into some of this planning as well. But that's a great question.
Okay, thank you.
As a former swim mom, we've shared many a poolside time. Are you planning to work with the district and the private clubs to have a developmental program as well through the Y?
Yep. So and our daughters, in full transparency, swam together years ago, but a lot of YMCA's have dually certified USA Swimming and YMCA Swimming certifications so that they can attend YMCA meets, but then they can also go to USA meets. And what that relationship would be is yet to be developed. We're just trying to get to the point to where we can tell them we're going to have a pool. But we're also, talking with other clubs in the area about, similar things. But, but yeah, I would envision that, regardless of what that looks like from a structural standpoint, that, that would be a part of it as well.
Okay. Mr. Timian.
Thank you, Your Honor. I wanted to say some of my earliest childhood memories are Cub Scout lock-ins at the Y. And I don't know if they still do that, but that was a wonderful, chaotic time where we all stayed up for 24 hours. I am curious about the north side. If we're abandoning is the wrong word, but if we're not really manning that entrance anymore, and I also see that the pool expansion, it looks like it's taking up some of the parking spaces. Was there any thought about just abandoning that lot altogether, since it's not really functioning?
So that will become primarily a staff parking lot or a special event parking lot. And to the point that you made, because this is the first question I'll get about, from a lot of our seniors, for example, who access locker rooms. Our locker room remodeling includes moving the women's locker room up to the south entrance, so it will be a lot closer to, for those people that have to access it with handicap parking and that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing all of this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Questions on the agenda. I have one update for you all. Item 15.1 and 15.2 is related to, we wanted to highlight that you had a follow-up question about if the owner had gotten consents. And they have currently 15 out of 27, but they did just have a baby on February 13th. So I think this is a moment of grace for getting the rest of it accomplished. But that's the status. Okay. So we move to our committee of the whole agenda items. 7.1, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Walter D. Laud, Inc. for project 1517 35th Street reconstruction for the amount of $296,668.05. Ms. Clark.
Good evening. Tonight, you will be reviewing several construction contracts that are all included in our 2026 capital improvement plan. This is the first of those. This is a project to reconstruct a section of 35th Street between 37th and 38th Avenue. The project will include pavement removal and replacement, sidewalk installation, and drainage improvements.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Macias. Discussion?
I'm just thinking. because
Thankful for
that's
doing the
close to
work
my
in your area. Okay. Thank you.
And my neighbor had a lot of concern about that. Now I can tell them, yeah.
Yep. All right. All right, if there's nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 7.2, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Davenport Electric Contract Company for project 1457 River Drive and 12th Street traffic signal installation for the amount of $637,427.81. Ms. Clower.
This is another one of those budgeted items. This is to install traffic signals at the intersection of River Drive and 12th Street, which has been a long-awaited project.
Yeah.
The materials that the contractor has to order do have a very long lead time, so we won't actually see construction until the fall.
Okay. And, okay. I was very concerned about all of the graduations and all of that traffic, but the fall is a much different time. Do we have a plan to, yes, sir?
Yeah, with regards to this one, there is also an issue about the impact agreement. Because of the fact that
Yep.
this is lighting and not road construction, there will be a delay, and ordinarily to waive the impact agreement would require a supermajority vote. 2/3 of the entire council as I interpret the ordinance. Because of the fact that this will be coming back again for the city council, you don't need to have that vote tonight. It can be passed as it is, but it's going to have to either at some point have an amendment to allow the impact agreement to come later, or it is going to have to pass by a 2/3 vote of the council in order for it to not have an impact agreement. So I just wanted you to be aware of the situation with regards to the impact agreement not being available yet, which is not a fault of engineering. It's a matter of it being prepared, the appropriate agreement.
Okay, thank you.
You should point out too, it has not been done before for this type of a project in the city. No.
And it's not for lack of trying. I think
No,
you all
it's a
told
matter
me
of-
there was,
yeah,
they were still trying to get it
We were
done.
informed that it would be 4 to 6 weeks, that they could have an impact agreement that would be appropriate for this kind of work. But it's just, we don't have an impact agreement to be signed for this kind of work. So we wanted to bring it forward with the possibility of the agreement coming later or waiving the agreement altogether, rather than delaying for, although we were told 4 to 6 weeks, it might end up being substantially longer.
But also we have a long lead time, so you want to.
With regards to right now voting as DeKalb, you do not need to take any special action. It can simply be advanced to city council.
Right, I understand that. I'm saying the whole project has a long lead time, which allows for this 4 to 6 week window for getting the
project
impact stuff
should,
done.
The construction should be starting after that 4 to
Exactly.
6 weeks.
Yeah. Mr. Schmidt?
I understand your point of not needing to take action, but I want to take action. Would it be appropriate to make the motion dependent on the completion of the impact agreement, or how do I make it clear that we're not waiving that? I mean, I'm okay with saying like, go, but you can't actually go until that's done.
Right.
I also don't
All
need to
you will be
see the
doing-
agreement, as long as it
Yeah.
comes to the city.
Your vote tonight, all it will do is advance it to city council at your next meeting. We did not put this on for both, right?
Correct.
Okay. So all you're doing by voting tonight is moving it to city council at your next meeting, which is next week. At that time, if you simply take a vote on this as it is, then you would need to, in order to pass it, you would need to have a supermajority vote.
Yeah.
So at the-
Otherwise, you would amend it to allow for the impact agreement to be approved after your vote. Because it's coming forward to you without an impact agreement. So if you were to pass it as city council, that would be waiving the requirement of the impact agreement unless you
Right,
amended
yeah,
it.
you either amend it tonight or you amend it next time.
I'm sorry?
He either amends it tonight or amends it next time.
You could amend it tonight. That certainly, there would be nothing wrong with that. I was just saying you don't need to.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to, that is entirely appropriate.
Your hand was raised, Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah. I would like us to take a closer look at I do not believe that a project simply being unanimously approved would be grounds to not require the impact agreement. As a process standard, the impact agreement does not have to come to council. I believe that would have to be a vote specifically to exclude an impact agreement. If that's not the case, then I'm going to revisit and rewrite that section of the code.
I think if you vote on an item where the information before you says that it is lacking one of the things required, which it does in the documentation, if you vote for it, then you are waiving the requirement that is not present.
That I would agree, but if it didn't say that,
Right.
that would not be the case, right? Okay.
I would agree with you, but I specifically worked quite a bit with Laura on this to make sure that you were informed of exactly what the status is, which is there is currently no impact agreement. We really want to have one for you, and the plan is to have one, but what we brought before you is basically an agreement that is lacking that aspect, the impact agreement.
Mr. Timian?
Is it appropriate at the next meeting to amend it contingent upon a future impact agreement Or must we amend it after the fact and approve the impact agreement as written?
You can amend it tonight to say that you will approve it at a later point, subject to an impact agreement. You can amend it at your next meeting. You have a number of options available to you. And the point here is that we wanted to make sure you were aware of the impact agreement difficulty.
Got it. Mr. Schmidt?
I would like to offer the amendment tonight. My question being, since we are at the cow, we know it's coming forward to the council meeting next week, can I make that amendment in plain language, knowing that then it would be updated prior to appearing on the council with what would be recommended? I mean, is that appropriate as an action? Because that way, we don't need to get into the exact words. I know you can find those words, and I know finding them on the council floor is not the best way to do that.
Yeah. If you make it clear in your motion that it is, you are asking that it be amended so that there will be that later approval of an impact agreement, as long as that's clear, I will work with Stephanie to have the appropriate language for your next meeting that will achieve what it is that you're asking for.
There you go.
I make a motion to approve with the addition of language that requires the impact agreement to be completed before the project begins.
Perfect.
Second?
Pause for procedure. We don't have the motion on the floor yet, correct?
Correct.
No, that was
Do you
me
wanna-
making the motion to approve with that contingency.
Okay, thank you. Please just restate that for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, boy.
No, I can do it.
Okay,
To approve with the addition of language that requires the impact agreement to be completed before the project begins.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. That's Schmidt and Timian. Discussion. Yes, Mr. Schmidt.
Just thank you for walking us through it in the ins and the outs and bringing that forward. So,
We're doing everything we can to make sure that
and
you're
certainly not
informed.
worth hanging it up when we can just say, hey, get that done along the way,
Mhm.
and then we'll be fine. So thank you.
Thank you. If there's nothing further, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 7.3, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an independent consultant agreement for professional services with Hutchison Engineering, Inc. to perform construction inspection services for section number 23-00291-00-BT, 19th Street and 27th Street Shared Use Path, Avenue of the Cities to 36th Avenue, on a time and expense basis with a not-to-exceed amount of $350,000. Ms. Clower.
So construction on phase 2 of this path along 19th and 27th Street between Avenue of the Cities and Colton Road is going to start in March. Due to the size and complexity of this project, paired with staffing shortages in the engineering department, we are asking for approval of a contract with Hutchison Engineering to perform the construction inspection, and for an amount not to exceed $350,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Razak. Discussion. Mr. Timian.
Is the staffing shortage just because Mr. Dryer retired?
No, we had our construction manager leave last fall.
Okay,
And so now it's kind of trickled. We have a new construction manager. Someone was promoted and then someone was backfilled into her position. So now we're just kind of filling the gaps.
okay.
So our most senior inspector is now the construction manager. So she's not able to perform the actual inspection on this project.
I think it's understandable. Please make sure we hold any third party accountable to our timelines, because we know how that goes.
We very well aware of that.
Yeah.
That's a daily discussion.
All right, anything further from the council? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an independent contractor agreement with Chenoweth Construction LLC for Fire Station Number 2 improvements for the amount of $210,053. Mr. Schmidt.
Good evening. Staff recently submitted a public bid to hire a contractor to complete needed renovations and improvements for Fire Station 2. These improvements are important for a safe, functional, and healthy work environment for those staff at that location. Areas that require improvement include living quarters, restrooms, windows, HVAC, and also other code compliance issues as well. We received 5 bids. The lowest, most responsive bidder was Chenoweth Construction. They were under bid, or under budget, actually, so we're recommending option 1 and 2, which is for painting and flooring improvements as well.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Second.
By Schmidt, seconded by Macias. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion passes. 7.5, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Walter D. Laud, Inc. for Project 1509, 2026 patching program for the amount of $1,468,976.25.
This is for approval of a contract with Walter D. Laud for our 2026 patching program. It's an annual maintenance program that performs surface repairs due to condition and after emergency utility replacements.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Timian, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Mr. Timian?
Like, you know, do we give them, here's all the stuff to do ahead of time? Or are we just, they're just handling a lot of the potholes and a lot of the ad hoc, and obviously utility replace? Is it just they're on call to do all the work, or do they have a laundry list as
They
well?
have a laundry list.
Okay,
And
so,
it's updated throughout the year.
so this price is based upon projects, not just,
Kind of. I mean, it gets updated throughout the year. So we
Okay.
can't foresee the utility repairs.
yeah,
But the rest of it, our inspectors have a list
okay.
that they just cycle through. And that way they can keep the costs on the CIP portion of this project under budget, because they can cut them off when they get to that point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 7.6, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Langman Construction, Inc. for project 1516 10th Avenue Court reconstruction for the amount of $1,068,467.81.
This is another 2026 CIP project to reconstruct a section of 10th Avenue Court in Moline. It's the 3800 block just north of 11th Avenue. Under this contract, Langman will reconstruct the pavement, install new sidewalk, replace the water mains, sanitary sewers, and storm sewers. Work will take place this summer and take approximately 4 months to complete.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Approve?
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by,
No, I did not second, okay, second.
okay, thank you. All right, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 7.7, a resolution amending the annual meeting calendar for 2026 to reflect the new meeting location of certain City of Moline boards and commissions as defined herein below to be held at the City Services Center Conference Room at 1830 6th Avenue, effective March 2026, and authorizing city staff to do all things necessary to notify the media of the amended 2026 annual meeting calendar.
Staff is recommending approval as presented.
Is there a
Motion to approve?
Motion by Razak,
Second.
second by Schmidt. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 7.8, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a notice of intent to award KP Fencing LLC for construction of a fence around the clear well and shore well building of the water treatment plant for the amount of $177,610 plus the alternative bid of $41,560 for the addition of a motorized gate operator for the total amount of $219,170 and authorizing the Director of Utilities to execute any necessary documents related to this work.
Hi, good evening. This fence is crucial for protecting our wastewater treatment plant. Most plants have these. It's very similar looking to the one we have at North Slope already. And we've taken into the aesthetics of the future development on our riverfront there. So we're looking forward to having this done.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Macias. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 7.9, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Centennial Contractors of the Quad Cities, Inc. for Project 1519 2026 Sidewalk Program for the amount of $528,000 and approving the expenditure of funds not to exceed the budgeted amount of $580,000 for sidewalk repairs, and said expenditures will be presented to council as a change order for approval, increasing the contract value.
So this item is for our 2026 sidewalk improvement program. Prices came in really good, so we are asking for council's approval to spend up to the budgeted amount and get more sidewalks done this year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Razak. I'm smiling because I know how much you care about sidewalks, the two of you people. All right, discussion, Mr. Schmidt.
Actually, and this is on this and many items, it seemed like a lot of the contracts were coming in lower. Is there a change, or is it just we got in early enough and so we're getting the best offers, we think?
I really don't have an answer. We're getting good prices. So, I mean, it's a good thing. I hope it continues, but I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Timian.
Weird question. I know that at budget session last year, we made a decision to allocate $1 million a year to sidewalks, including some CDBG for historic, older neighborhoods that would qualify. Is this separate? Like, is there an additional pot, or are we just running out of sidewalks to fix?
We're not running out of sidewalks.
I'll give you a list.
This is the amount that was included in the CIP.
Okay.
I believe CDBG funds may be allocated at a later date, possibly, if available.
Do we have to have KJ speak to that, or you?
No, I mean, we definitely had an allocation through CDBG that we wanted to make sure took place in the low to moderate income neighborhoods or census tracts in the city. That was a given. And then we had just the rest of the city overall sidewalk replacement. So it's a combination of both, but I would have to take a look at the actual budget to answer your question.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
follow-up, yes.
It just, is there more, I guess is the question.
There's
Or,
never gonna be enough is the right answer,
Right.
so.
No, it was $1 million. He's right. I can remember.
All right. If there's nothing further, all in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you. 7.10, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a grant agreement between the city of Moline and Project Now, Inc., setting forth the terms and conditions to continue to administer the Level Up program for the period of January 1, 2026 to December 31, 2026, and authorizing city staff to do any and all things necessary to fulfill the terms and conditions to administer said grant. Ms. Whitley.
Good evening. Good evening. As you guys know, we started this program 2 years ago. It's very successful. And it's ran out of money, so we need to possibly replenish it. In the level A, that's where the major changes are. Still, everyone that comes in level A will receive a $400 stipend, but the length that they're going to receive that stipend is the difference there. And then in level B, it's a one-time emergency. So if you received help in the first year or the second year, you can't receive help again in level B. But it's very successful, and then it continues to employ an intern. Last year, we introduced that. This year, they're gonna continue with the intern who hopefully goes to a Moline school or lives in Moline to administer, or to help administer the program. So we're asking for approval. One more year with Project Now for a total of $315,000. We're gonna pay them $20,000 to administer it, $12,000 for the intern, and the rest of the money will be used for Part A and Part B.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Macias. Discussion. Mr. Timian.
I apologize, I'm not seeing the change in the length for level A. Can you elaborate?
We changed it last
Okay,
year.
this is the same as last year, that's a 2 years.
This is the third year.
Right, but we changed the lengths last year.
Okay, then in that case, never mind.
Mr.
Thank you.
Schmidt, was that a hand? No.
That was.
Okay. Anything further from the council? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you. And it's also, we're also asking for consideration.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't do it in December and gotta get it moving. Got
Get
it.
people waiting. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
7.11, a resolution approving and accepting a permanent easement for a public pedestrian way over, through, and across the property described and depicted on the attached Exhibit A for all activities related to the purpose of the city constructing described and depicted on the attached Exhibit B, reconstructing, repairing, enlarging, and maintaining an artificial surface and public sidewalk for pedestrians and bicycles from Iowa Interstate Railroad LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, in consideration of a preparation and handling fee of the sum of $1,500, and authorizing the city attorney and the director of engineering to do any and all things necessary to fulfill the terms and conditions of said easement.
So this is the last piece of the puzzle that we needed to put the sidewalk in across the tracks at 34th Street.
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll be on the west side.
I have to correct that. It's hopefully the last piece because we also have an agreement with the other railroad that utilizes this particular stretch of railroad. However, we do have a hearing in front of ICC where we need to get approval of ICC, and we don't have that yet. So I love the optimism, but considering that I'm the attorney appearing on that hearing, I'm not, I hope that it's justified. And hopefully in about a month, this will all be over with. I can't remember the exact date. We have the next hearing, but we set it over to get past approval by all of you of this easement.
That's great. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Macias. I will say, I did just see a young person walking with a backpack like they were headed to WIU on that side where we're in the middle of construction, and I just was hoping no one was coming this way because there's no safety space, so
It's
it'll
gonna
be.
be a big improvement when that
Right.
sidewalk's in that whole stretch.
Mr. Timian?
That was my question. This attaches a sidewalk at WIU where that pole is, and then we'll continue south.
It will continue all the way to 4th Avenue and across 4th Avenue.
Is there any consideration for widening for bicycle? Like, when we reconstructed that 4 years ago, it shrunk considerably. And it used to be easier to ride your bike. There was a shoulder, and now there isn't.
Are you
Going
talking
across
north
the
of the
bridge.
tracks?
On the tracks.
The tracks, it'll be 8 foot wide across the tracks.
I know there was a section that got narrower, and I don't really know, but I'm always considerate of how do we get to the parkway when we have a great bike and multi-use path on the river, but getting to it is often difficult.
Mr.
And,
Macias?
yeah.
Mr. Macias?
I believe, thank you, Your Honor. I believe what happened is they put a strip of
There's a
concrete in the
median.
middle. And in the past, when bikers would be on the side, cars could go on the opposite side a little bit and make more room for them. And that's what kind of made it a little narrower in a certain area there.
Are we
That's-
north or south of the tracks?
We're
think
south of the
south.
tracks.
Yeah.
There's a median that
Yes,
takes up space
Raised
in the
median,
road.
9-inch median.
yeah.
Okay, so it's going across 34th
So,
Street?
so it's right in the middle, because I had a biker tell me, in the past when that wasn't there, cars used to kind of weave over, make a little
It's-
bit of space.
It's longitudinal,
Yeah.
dividing north-south 34th Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there will be a whole new sidewalk on the west side of the street.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
that's
side?
right.
They're just suggesting, can we make sure it's like multi-use path size?
Oh.
So that,
It'll be
so
8
that
foot wide the whole
vehicles
way.
can, or vehicles,
Bikes.
bikes,
Yeah.
e-bikes.
It's better than nothing, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
Anything further from council? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. 7.12, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a contract with Ostrom Painting and Sandblastering, Inc. for Project 1505, 2026 pavement marking program for the amount of $217,170.
So this is an annual maintenance program to perform pavement striping throughout the city. It goes on all year, or all, I should say, all construction season. We've had good luck with Ostrom in the past, and are looking forward to working with them again.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Timian, seconded by Razak. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. And 7.13, a resolution approving an amended and restated intergovernmental agreement by and between the City of Moline and Rock Island County Metropolitan Mass Transit Authority, MetroLink, consisting of electric vehicle charging station host lease agreement approved on September 9, 2025, and authorizing the mayor to execute said amended and restated agreement.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we had this IGA in front of you in September. MetroLink, if you remember, has grant money to install EV chargers. They would like to install them here at the 13th Street lot. Really, all we had to do was correct that exhibit to show these in their, they did some design and they need to move these to the southwest corner of the lot. So that's really all we're doing here. We also removed the 17th Street lot until we get more refined plans, and then we'll come back and revise this IGA at that point. So we're just asking for your approval of the amendment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. That concludes the COW. We'll call our regular council meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you have an invocation, Mr. Timian?
I do not.
Roll call, please.
Alderperson Murphy, Macias.
Present.
Razak.
Present.
Timian.
Present.
Finch. McNeil.
Present.
Castro. Schmidt.
Present.
All right, there's no remote electronic attendance. Do we have public comment? No one in the audience? Okay, we'll move to our consent agenda.
Your Honor, I request the approval of Committee of the Whole, Council, and Executive Session Meeting Minutes of February 3rd, 2026, and Committee of the Whole and Executive Session Meeting Minutes of February 10, 2026, and Consent Agenda items 15.1 through 16.2 inclusively.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Razak. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
All right,
5 ayes, no nays, that motion carries. Non-consent agenda resolutions. Item number 18.1, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an independent contractor agreement with Chenoweth Construction LLC for Fire Station Number 2 improvements for the amount of $210,053.
Motion to approve.
Second.
that was Schmidt, followed by
Razak.
Razak. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, that motion carries. Item number 18.2, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute and attest to a grant agreement between the City of Moline and Project Now, Inc., setting forth the terms and conditions to continue to administer the Level Up program for the period of January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026, and authorizing city staff to do any and all things necessary to fulfill the terms and conditions to administer said grant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Razak. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, that motion carries. Item number 18.3, a resolution approving and accepting a permanent easement for a public pedestrian way over, through, and across the property described and depicted on the attached Exhibit A for all activities related to the purpose of the city constructing, described and depicted on the attached Exhibit B, reconstructing, repairing, enlarging, and maintaining an artificial surface and public sidewalk for pedestrians and bicycles from Iowa Interstate Railroad LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, in consideration of a preparation and handling fee of the sum of $1,500, authorizing the city attorney and the director of engineering to do any and all things necessary to fulfill the terms and conditions of said easement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, that motion carries. Item number 18.4, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a notice of intent to award KP Fencing LLC for construction of a fence around the clear well and shore well building of the water treatment plant for the amount of $177,610, plus the alternative bid of $41,560 for the addition of a motorized gate operator for the total amount of $219,170, and authorizing the Director of Utilities to execute any necessary documents related to this work.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Schmidt. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, that motion carries. Non-consent agenda, first reading ordinances. Item number 19.1, an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Offenses Miscellaneous of the Moline Code of Ordinances, Section 22-1105, Tobacco Products, Tobacco Accessories, Smoking Herbs and Alternative Nicotine Products by increasing the number of Class B incidental tobacco dealers' licenses in the city of Moline at the request of Rashawn LLC, DBA 711, number 34458B.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.2, an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Offenses Miscellaneous of the Moline Code of Ordinances, Section 22-1105, Tobacco Products, Tobacco Accessories, Smoking Herbs and Alternative Nicotine Products by increasing the number of Class B incidental tobacco dealers' licenses in the city of Moline at the request of Chamunda 0418 LLC, DBA 711, number 34459B.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.3, an ordinance approving the tax increment redevelopment plan and project for the TIF 13 amendment.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Timian. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.4, an ordinance designating the TIF 13 amendment.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.5, an ordinance adopting tax increment financing for the TIF 13 amendment.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
That's motion by Razak, seconded by Macias. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.6, an ordinance amending Chapter 35 zoning and land development of the Moline Code of Ordinances, Article 3, zoning, Division 1, in general, Section 35-3111, nonconforming use regulations regarding zoning text amendments concerning nonconforming residential uses, specifically two-family dwellings.
Motion to advance to second reading?
Second.
Motion by Timian, seconded by Razak. Discussion? Mr. Timian.
Just want to thank staff again for this. I think it was long overdue it was really good cleanup. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further from the council? Hearing none, roll call please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.7, an ordinance amending Chapter 35 zoning and land development of the Moline Code of Ordinances regarding certain corrections and/or clarifications to the zoning and land development regulations, including text amendments to Article 3, zoning, Division 4, land use regulations, Section 35-3401, regulation of allowed uses, Table 35-3401.1, permitted land uses, and Section 35-3410, principal storage, wholesaling, and industrial land uses.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Macias. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays. Motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.8, an ordinance amending Chapter 20, Motor Vehicles and Traffic of the Moline Code of Ordinances, Appendix 5 thereof, all-way stop intersections by adding the intersection of 7th Avenue and 16th Street.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Macias. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian.
Aye.
McNeil.
Aye.
Schmidt.
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays. Motion to advance to second reading carries. Item number 19.9, an ordinance amending Chapter 35 Zoning and Land Development of the Moline Code of Ordinances regarding certain corrections, additions, and/or clarifications to the zoning and land development regulations, including text amendments to Article 1, General Provisions and Administration, Division 2, Word Usage, Abbreviations, and Definitions, Section 35-1203, Definitions, and amending Article 2, Development Review and Procedures, Division 1, Administrative Development Review, Section 35-2100, Review and Approval Required, Table 35-2100.1, Administrative Development Review Procedure Summary, and by adding a new section, 35-2111, entitled Request for Reasonable Accommodation, and amending Article 3, Zoning, Division 4, Land Use Regulations, Section 35-3401, Regulations of Allowed Uses, Table 35-3401.1, Permitted Land Uses concerning small institutional group homes.
Motion to advance to second reading.
Second.
Motion by Razak, seconded by Timian. Discussion. Mr. Timian.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to amend by substituting with the version of the ordinance that was referred by the City Council on January 20th.
Second.
You said January 20th?
Correct.
Motion by Timian, seconded by Schmidt. Discussion. Mr. Timian.
For context, we specified the date because there've been a lot of versions of this, and we just wanted to be very clear about which version. And this is the version that had the simplified version of a definition of family, retaining Table 35-3401.1. I appreciate all the work the staff has put into this. I am a little bit thrown off when the explanation for this recognizes that we are looking at different family types and different situations, but did not account for overcrowding. And then the definition provided to us also did not account for overcrowding. It relied on the IPMC code, which is already in effect. It's already something that governs overcrowding in the city. And if that is the case, I don't necessarily understand or agree with adding the extra layers of complexity on top of the existing code. And so I prefer to just default back to the more open definition that we came up with, and also taking the city out of the business of defining family.
Thank you. Mr. Schmidt?
I agree that I don't want the city defining family, but with how integral the phrase is to the zoning code at this time, better to replace it with a simpler, more broader definition than to try and remove it out. I think as we had looked at this, it was looking toward a simpler solution, and I feel like we came back with a more complicated one, where we have an ordinance in place that says we couldn't provide from staff an example of when we have used this or would use this. And then to see a blast from my past as we bring forward that example from Columbia, Missouri, where I kid you not, I was removed from housing by this ordinance when I was in college. You know, this ordinance in Columbia, Missouri was specifically designed to prevent college students living in single-family residence areas. I mean, it is very clear in that area and that use. I actually covered it as a city council reporter at the time, in addition to eventually, as I said, having to relocate to a new home as a landlord was not allowed to renew a lease. I just think it's running quite contrary to what we're trying to accomplish. the idea of overcrowding and needing to address that is right, and I think we default to the state law here, but the idea that we're gonna put in one definition that covers 600 square foot dwelling units and 6,000 square foot dwelling units with the exact same number requirements is just not a great idea. So I think if we need to address these things, we can address them, but doing it this way does not seem to be working.
Thank you. Is there anything further from the council? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian,
Aye.
McNeil,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Macias.
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays, and that motion carries.
Motion as amended. No, the
The
motion,
amendment.
the amendment carries.
What was the date specifically on the ordinance? Because we have no copy here to refer to during the meeting, so.
This
what would it
was
be?
the motion that we advanced to Plan Commission on January 20th.
Yep, that's what I wrote down.
Is this, excuse me, this was what was sent specifically to the Plan Commission,
It's what was referred to
Yes.
the planning
and then
commission.
reviewed by Plan Commission, amended by Plan Commission, sent back.
Yeah,
And you're rejecting what was sent to us by the Plan Commission.
correct.
Just so I'm clear for the
No.
purpose of the record.
In discussing this with Alderperson Timian to figure out how to properly phrase what he wanted to do, we used that particular date and the fact that it was referred by the city council to reflect that it was the language that Alderperson Timian had previously used as a substitute for what had come originally from the Plan Commission. So
Alright,
it-
so
it's
it's a motion.
clear, it is clear, I think, by describing it this way, and much shorter than to give all the exact wording that was given at that time. We've got records that show exactly what the language was, and this is, without having talked with Alderperson Timian before walking into the room today, the best that we could come up with in order to make it clear what the amendment would be.
And so we have a motion on the floor that's been amended. We need to vote on that motion as amended. Discussion, Mr. Schmidt.
The amendment as was referred is in the supporting documentation from what was shared with Plan Commission.
So could you read
That's-
that out so that it's very clear for the record?
Well, so I was actually going to say, with such a substantial change, I believe we're probably in a better place to slow down, table this so that it comes back with that amended version at our next meeting, and we have that proper documentation in front of us for review. And I'm fully supportive of this passing, obviously, and that's where I want it to go, but I do think taking that moment to ensure everyone has had the chance to review and digest and ask questions again on that issue makes a lot of sense.
If I could be heard,
Mr.
I still have the concerns that I raised previously. Even though I helped Alderperson Timian in coming up with the language, I have done some looking into the code, and I have not been able to find a clear problem with that language. However, I have not been able to do an exhaustive review of the code because family is mentioned so many times, and trying to check every one of them for the potential impact of this change, I really have a fear that we are, by the law of unintended consequences, we are doing something, if we pass this, that I don't even know what bad thing could happen. And I'm very comfortable if I can see potential problems and I can say, here's what you might have happen, and you assess that based on my advice, and you say, I'm willing to take that risk. But I'm very concerned not being able to tell you. I don't even know what the problems might be, because this is a very extensive ordinance that uses the word family so frequently. I
Your point's taken.
apologize for not doing a better job of being able to tell you what problems there could be, but I still am concerned, and I would hope that you will be hesitant about taking any further action on this. I understand that you've made the amendment, and I hope that you take some time to think this through before finally passing it.
Mr. Schmidt?
I feel that it has been adequately thought through. I have no problems. I would vote to pass it, except that I do believe, just from a process standpoint, letting ourselves slow down and ensure we're all on that same page makes sense. I've been asked to, reading back to the definition as presented, is that family means one or more persons occupying a dwelling unit and maintaining a common household. This definition shall also apply to Chapter 8 of the Moline Code of Ordinances. And end of definition. And while I understand that worry on unintended consequences, that doesn't carry as much weight to me with how specific and odd the definition we're replacing is, which was one or more persons, each related to them by blood, marriage, or adoption, including fostered children, together with such relative of the respective spouses who are living with the family in a single dwelling and maintaining a common household. A family may also be composed of not to exceed 3 persons not so related, provided that such unrelated persons live in a single dwelling and maintain a common household and single household unit. A family includes any domestic servants and not more than one gratuitous guest residing with said family. Such servants or guests shall be included in the unrelated persons attained by this definition and shall not be an addition thereto. I think the archaicness and the outlay there, I mean, everything you would speak to in that definition is spoken to in the new definition. And I just don't foresee, after weeks of being able to think of it, that we'd come up with something that's different. That we would, any problem that would be caused by this definition would have just caused a problem or similar issue with the old definition.
We're not supposed to have side conversations, I'm sorry. It's in code.
Well, the staff
Would you like to
We just can't.
opine?
No, I guess I just don't want to be confused. I want to understand what we're doing, because we will be responsible for the enforcement of what this policy leads to. I mean, what is the impact on a single-family home next door to you? Does that mean that there is not going to be any controls whatsoever on the number of total people who can reside on that property in that house? Is it going to be limited to 4 unrelated people so that it doesn't impact you like it did in Missouri? Where are we going with this in the end? Because it's come from council, it's gone to plan commission, it's come back to council, and it seems like we're spinning. And that's not a good place to be on
I'm sorry, Mr.
policy.
Vitas, we're not spinning. You guys aren't recommending what this council is saying they want to do. And this council is recommending things that are researched and recommended in modern urban planning. It is not crazy. It's not off the wall. It is, some recommendations, whether we want to admit it or not, are based out of fear rather than a spirit of really trying to turn the page and make things happen, to make things more accessible to human beings in our community. Mr. Timian.
To answer your question, Bob,
Yeah.
no, a single-family dwelling unit is not unlimited. We have the IPMC that governs density and overcrowding. That is a standard that was reaffirmed in the definition of dwelling unit by the Plan Commission. So that is something that governs overcrowding already. We also do not allow for single room occupancy. So a landlord can't come in, buy a house and rent out rooms. That isn't currently allowed in our code. Whether we enforce it or not is a different question. We do not allow for single room occupancy rentals in R1, R2 zoning areas currently. So no, that's not gonna happen. What this is gonna say is me and my unmarried partner and 2 other couples that share a 6,000 square foot house are allowed to do so because our current code says we can't. This says the Golden Girls can share a house together, whereas our current code says they can't. because it's more than 3 unrelated people sharing a residence.
That's a great example.
And it's not even a modern one. It's an example
That's a
that,
place in Florida, in a red state.
but the point is that this is any part that we are regulating family, and I think the important distinction here is land use regulation is meant to regulate land use, not what constitutes a family. And this has been a very common thing that's done by a lot of cities throughout history, and was primarily used as a mechanism to exclude certain people from neighborhoods. It was selectively enforced historically against African-American families or immigrant families that were moving into our community and we didn't want them there. I understand that's not how we use it. But
Right.
a lot of these zoning codes were adopted by one city and then copied and pasted all throughout America. And that's like, that applies to parking standards, it applies to all sorts of different zoning codes. So, having said that, I do want to speak on the fear a little bit. About 4 years ago, we had a massive debate about ADUs. And a number of people in this council said if we pass this ADU ordinance, downtown is going to be filled with ADUs and duplexes and slumlords and the whole city is going to hell. And so that was the fear. If we allow this, it's going to explode. So then 2 years later, we introduced a much more liberal version of that allowed for even more. And we've had one ADU go up.
That's true.
So fear is a huge driver, and I understand it, but we can't let it govern us. I think that if this is massively abused, we have the ability to correct.
I will offer to a recent text received asking for a meeting to talk about affordable housing and what a community member was facing trying to find housing, suitable housing for their recent grad from school. I mentioned my story of my own child who's a recent grad who would never be able to afford something on her own right now at the prices we charge in the area. And this father was having the same kind of commentary. So whatever we can do to decrease barriers for people being able to live on their own and live well, I think we need to do. But the item is on the floor, amended, with January 20 language, the definition you read off. Mr. Schmidt.
I would like to make a motion to push this to the meeting on March 3rd. Wasn't going to table it. Could you remind me what the correct wording is just to make it automatically show up on that next agenda?
So you're wanting to defer it to a date certain, essentially.
Yeah.
So all you would have to do is say that you're moving to defer to whatever date.
We have to
for
table
further-
it to that date. Our code says using the form tabling. We don't use the term defer in our code for what their powers are.
Well, I mean, what you're wanting is not necessarily to move it forward to second reading, but to defer it to another date for further consideration.
Let's just table it
Is that
to
right?
March 3rd.
Well, and I can just make the table. I mean, that's.
Okay. Because
So,
if you're wanting to move it to another date for consideration, then that would be a superseding motion to the pending motion.
Right.
And you would be moving to defer it to X date, which you would have to fill in.
I make a motion to table this item to March 3rd.
Thank you. We need a second.
Second.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Razak. There's no discussion on a table motion. So roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian,
Nay?
McNeil,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Macias,
Aye.
Razak.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 nay.
I'm gonna vote nay. Because I can. All right, so four ayes, 2 nays. Okay. All right, that's tabled to next meeting, which is next week. And that concludes our business on the council meeting. We're to miscellaneous business. Just wanted to share this note that was addressed to both the mayor and city council. So it's coming from a plan commissioner that's very passionate about pedestrian access. There's other stuff at your table relating to our comprehensive plan. Just a quick check. We can all attend, but we cannot have a conversation because it's not a meeting of the council, correct?
Right.
Got it. So just a reminder about that. Tomorrow is the mayor's breakfast with the Quad City Chamber. And so I will try to represent all the work you all do, staff, and what we do as elected officials well. In my comments tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it. There's also, I just wanted to briefly update you because it's been mentioned now in the governor's State of the State address. You may have heard of his ideas related to basically preempting municipalities and their code, building code, et cetera, in an effort to increase the availability of affordable housing. I've been able to have a few conversations about that. Bob's been able to have a few conversations about that. So I don't know where that's gonna go, what the legislature is gonna do there, but please feel free to make your thoughts known to our representatives. I think my bottom line is, unless you're providing me tools rather than just rules for how we can compete with the housing available in Iowa, and we can actually build and make everything pencil, I'm less interested because we're already on a path to decreasing regulation so that we can build more things. That's even what some of our conversation has been tonight. So I just wanted to update you on that conversation. Please stay aware of that as it may come forward through the legislature. I have generally already told the governor's office preemption is a bad thing for local municipalities and local government. That's all I have, Mr. Macias.
I'll be cheering you on tomorrow at the mayor's breakfast, so I'll be there. That's all.
Sorry, most likely I will not be able to.
Mr. Timian?
Thank you, Your Honor. I will see you all in the morning. I'll look for you to sit with.
All right.
Okay. Mr. McNeil?
My regrets tomorrow morning. I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Mr. Schmidt?
All right, well, I'll be there since everyone else said so. I too wanted to agree with everything you said regarding what the governor had proposed and pushing through on. You know, while I do find I would likely agree with most of the requirements the state would consider putting into place and restrictions on the zoning, I don't think that level of preemption is a wise, you know, because it could also limit us from doing those other things, right? It just as it would prevent some places from putting in the type of ordinance we don't want to see in other places, but it may prevent us from doing the ordinance that works for us still. So very much in agreement there. Thank you.
Staff?
That was a good report. So anyhow, I just wanted to let you know that Dawn Temple did complete, after months of research and effort, the grant application for our build program for the riverfront. Quite a body of work that she wrote, and I want to thank her for getting that done and turned in today on time before the deadline lapsed. She was getting texts from me with a countdown, so that was great. But I want to thank Barry, and I want to thank Chris Parr as well, and Chris Mathias, those of us who were involved in reviewing and helping write that grant. Last year we had that done. We actually shopped that work out when it was a raised grant. This time it is very specifically being done in-house, probably saving us tens of thousands of dollars, but by the same token, producing, I think, a winning product. If you read the whole grant agreement, it's quite informative. I mean, it tells you everything you want to know about where we sit today with that riverfront, you know, and how this grant, whether it's for the environmental engineering that needs to be done or any of the other work that is associated with that, you know, that funding would take us through the engineering, 30, 60, 90% construction drawings, which would then next year allow us to be able to go out, secure additional funding for the actual physical work and to procure that work and have the work actually start in 2027 on the infrastructure. So kudos to everybody who worked on that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other staff? All right, hearing none. One last try at public comment. I don't think there's anything. All right. And we have executive session.
Your Honor, I make a motion that the council convene an executive session for the purpose of discussion of pending, probable, or imminent litigation -5 ILCS 120/2C11.
Second?
All right, motion by Macias, seconded by Timian. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Timian?
Aye.
McNeil?
Aye.
Schmidt?
Aye.
Macias?
Aye.
Razak?
All right, we're headed to executive session.